But let's use the Johnson family segue, right? Because we had a good timer, right? The Johnson family segue is this. Go ahead. I'm not gonna leave this one half because I got a lot to say about that, and hopefully my wife's not watching tonight. So go ahead, go ahead.
What Johnson family segue?
We talked about the apps, what they do and how they work. Actually, you know who brought this up? What's his online name, man? I can't even. You got me all.
Sorry, take your time, man. We back.
No, Kev brought this up.
Okay,
Oh, where you at, bro? You here?
I'm listening to you. You said
I said
The
no,
Johnson apps.
no, not the Johnson app. You going too deep. What's the app that we talked about that's causing commotion?
Ah, yes,
There you
yes,
go. There
yes.
you go.
Come
I
on,
had to
Kate
hit you.
Dizzle. We got
I
it. So
had to.
look, this Life 360 stuff is wild, right? So I thought just sharing your location was the first step, right? So apparently you also have a Life 360 ability to where you can sync up different readings from that person that you're following. So you can not only see where they're located, but you can see how much battery they have on their phone. You can see the last time they moved. You can see the last time they sent a text message, the last time they took a phone call. So that's definitely 360. And I don't know, to what extent you would have that just, in your normal relationships. I can definitely see with kids, that's definitely something that makes sense. But where do you guys stand? And my baby's in the chat, so I'm gonna just ask you, just throw it out there. Where do you guys stand with the Life 360 idea, and do you trust that type of technology with with your information before we even take it further?
Hold on. So this all came together with he did bring this up, and it's funny because we just started. So a lot of families use this app, and there are plenty other apps like it too. I don't want to promote them unless they paying us. It's an app called Life 360, which
Hmm.
what it does is it's an alternative to your Find My iPhone. So that what it will do is it will actually trace, it'll locate and track, your kids. Mainly that's what families use it for: kids, activities, things like that, or your significant other, whoever is on the app with you. It's self-enclosed. It tells you a lot of information about where they're going, how long they've been there, and everything else. Like you said, it will tell you battery life. There is a group chat within it, and it's good in that situation. Say you got kids and they got cell phones and they're supposed to be at so and so's house, and you just want to make sure they're there,
Right.
or just keeping track of the family as a whole. It's an alternative to your your Samsung or your Apple, Find My
It's
iPhone.
very evasive
But it's
technology.
it's very detailed. It's very detailed. It tells you how much percentage battery life they have on their phone, if their phone's dying. It tells you where they went, how long it took them to get there, how fast they were going, if they're, the speed they were moving. And it tells you it tells you how long that location was. And so this triggered a whole different conversation. I'm gonna put the ticker up right now. Okay. Um, are you sharing your look? I don't need to know you about it. It's just weird. Are you sharing your location with your spouse or
Send me
significant other?
your location. Focus on communicate. Hey man, are you sharing your location with your spouse, Kate Dizzle?
I am. I am.
Okay.
I am. I was
How's that going for you?
so for me initially, I was hesitant, and it wasn't for any nefarious reasons. It's because I knew that it was going to give a lot of look. I plead the fifth. A lot of y'all gonna plead the fifth. So
Nah, don't go
I, I
pleading the fifth
I'm not
now,
pleading the
Erica.
fifth. Yeah. So because I knew it was going to share, I didn't know how much it was going to share. I was like, okay, well, what if
I knew it was gonna share. I didn't know how
I
much it
didn't
was
know
gonna
how much
share. I
it
mean,
was
I
going to
didn't,
share. So um, there's never an occasion where a fifth, sixth, and seventh. So you always, even though you're not doing anything nefarious, I'm just being honest.
Hmm.
You always want to, you always want to have that ambiguity, right? Um, it can be exploited for nefarious
Hold on. Say
uses.
that again. Say
So
that
it's
again,
double.
Kate Dizzle.
You always want to have some type of ambiguity. So he says, but it can be exploited for nefarious use. It is also a double edged, right? James says, my
Mhm.
wife said. if we can trust someone with our health, body, soul, and life, why would we trust them with our phone or location? So
That's very true.
that is 100%
Very
true,
valid.
100% valid, right? So that is that is the whole point to it.
All
At
right,
the
so look,
Look, you didn't even let me finish. Hold on, you didn't let me
go
finish
ahead,
what I'm
do your
saying.
thing.
You always, for some reason, I always want a little bit of ambiguity. So let's say if I want to go somewhere and do something to get something for her, or do something else, um, I want to be able to do that. It's not to say that I'm doing anything,
What does that
but
mean?
then
What does that entail?
exactly, that doesn't mean anything. So let's say if I want it before I stop home.
What the hell
So
does that mean? You want to
so
do? You want to run offs?
no,
From
no.
okay.
Let's say if I before I go home, I want to stop. I want to stop at a restaurant and get something to eat, right? And before I get home, even if dinner's made, right? The fairest, exactly. Even if dinner's made, I want to stop and get something to eat. Now she knows that I stopped and got something to eat, and I still come home and eat the food at home because I want to be respectful as well. But I knew I wanted something ahead of time, so now I can. That's no longer that's out the window. But even still, little things like that you always want some type of ambiguity. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you're doing anything nefarious. You just want a little bit of freedom, but at the same time you make a valid point. Share your location. So like I said, what if I make a stop at Target and he don't know, and now I'm getting questioned about some damn toiletries? That's where it in lies, my friend. If someone is using that and using that information to actually really track and see what you're doing, and they start questioning what you're doing, right? You can't even have a sneaky meal, bro. Then if they start questioning everywhere you're going, now you have now it's a whole nother situation that it causes. Now, have a look. Having a locational abilities to locate your partner is not to use and abuse the abilities. Correct. So I'll tell you what I did, and I told my wife I did this too. Okay, one night I had the app on. Two things, right? I knew that when I saw the information was given, like it'll tell you how fast I was going. I drive fast. I know that. So I'm waiting for my wife to say something. And she doesn't say something. Okay. One night I go to the movies. I say, hey, all right, I'm going to movies. I'm going to see a movie. I go to the movies and I come out of the movies. This is real life. I'm telling
You was
I'm
on your self
I'm
care
telling a
shit.
real life story. I'm coming out of the movies. I left the movies. I went into an adjacent neighborhood, right? Right after the movies, stayed in an adjacent neighborhood for 20 minutes. Stayed in there, just stayed in my car, stayed in there for 20 minutes. Because I know it's tracking me, right? And then I pull off and go home. I did that purposefully to see if my wife was with my wife was like tracking me to track me.
Oh, you was lunching.
No, 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 no. Look,
You was lunching. You said you pulled in an adjacent neighborhood for 20 minutes.
adjacent neighborhood, pulled in the parking lot. Jason went sat in for 20 minutes, sat on my phone, watched the episode on Netflix, and then came home. Because I wanted to see if I would be questioned about what I did in that neighborhood and why I was there for 20 minutes. And you know what happened, Hef? The exact opposite. I was not questioned at all on why I did what I did. So now so for that meant for me to say, okay, we're not using this app to track and locate and think that we have, and for because she's not thinking that I'm doing something out of the ordinary. Because one, I've never given the reason to, and two, I know that she trusts me, and I wouldn't do anything to give her the reasons to. I just wanted to see for my own self. I'm testing my own wife. We've been married up 10 years. So now I want to see if why we're really doing it. And I told her this conversation. So I told her this conversation. So but she did out of blue one day say, can you do me a favor? You do drive very fast in the morning. I went off. I kind of went off because I knew it was going to come. I was like, I drive fast. I drive fast. Leave me alone. Is there a fee for the app? I don't know. No, I think it is a free app, Brandon. It's a free app.
I think
Um,
there's like some type of premium membership where you can
it could
upgrade,
be a
but
premium membership where you can upgrade and to tell you, how many times they picked up their phone. I don't know. but
but obviously the app and the sharing locations got common sense usage for why you would want to have it, right? It's
Common
common
sense.
sense.
Yep,
It's
common
common
sense.
sense. It's all about safety, security. You don't want your information, compromised, but that's what happens when you deal with any type of technology that you're dealing with now.
But
But
it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say personally, like with me and my girl, sharing locations came out in the open when he's on it tonight, baby. He's on it. So look, sharing locations with me and my girl came out when we moved to Arizona. So it made perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, we're out here in the fucking desert. So if you can't see me, it's good that you could at least track me. So I was all in.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the location is my girl, she'll definitely pull up my location before I will pull up hers.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or good thing, but she'll always know where I'm at. I'll have the location shared and I'll still say, where you at?
Yeah.
Because I'm still so Neanderthalish and shit. And she's like, we share locations. Why the hell you asked me where I'm at? And I said, I ain't feel like I had to go all the way into Jones see, pull up the app.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good thing. And like
Yeah.
James says, in today's society, there's too many sneaky things and outlets and less honest people. Oh, and less honest people. I mean, there's a lot of distractions for men and women in relationships meant to tear it apart. Okay, definitely a lot of distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a lot of ways you can get pulled to the side. Bianca said, because that's my girl. What's up, Bianca? You got to give a
There you
shout out to
go.
Bianca K Dizzle.
Always look. Here's the thing about it, Brandon. Every app that you download is selling your information. There's no way to get around it. They have your information. They're selling it. And that's just how it is. And everything is packaged in a nutshell. We got a million, whatever it is. Everybody got your stuff. It don't matter. Right? How are they monetizing info? That's exactly how they monetize it. You just got to be careful with all the stuff that you download. She don't like when you do that. Use your resources. 100%. So sharing locations is a good thing. I think it builds trust. I think it breeds it breeds a certain level of security. Yeah, but Bianca is a mo now. Um,
That
um,
Bianca's
at
a
least a
now.
certain it breeds a certain amount of security. If you're okay with sharing your location, then they should be okay. You should be okay with the idea that happened. I know.
But what about the element K Dizzle? I'm gonna ask you this question
Go
in
ahead.
the chat. In the chat, let me know what y'all think. What about the element to where I just feel like I need my space? And it's like I would love for you to know where I am, but like mentally right now, you know what I'm thinking. We're at each other's throat, we're arguing, it's a tough time. And it's just like another layer of, and she knows what aisle in Walmart I'm in right now. I can't get the fuck away from any of this shit. And that's the mental, the mental aspect,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the app is definitely feeding you ads based on where you are. 100%.
Oh yeah.
100%. Don't matter where you go. As soon as I walk in the Giant, that app pop up and let me know what the hell's going on, what
You
sales is going
probably
on.
had you probably had a movie ad come up before you went to the
Oh,
movies.
I did, for sure. For sure. Without a doubt, for sure. So, um if if your ass come up missing, you wish you would have still been sharing that location, player.
Shit, come find me. Come find me, baby.
See, they can pull up real quick,
Come find me.
real quick. Hey, but no, uh, there has to be a certain level of trust, all in trust when you talk about sharing your location. If there is some hesitancy, some major hesitancy,
There's a problem.
there's a problem.
Absolutely.
There's a problem. Um, some major hesitancy. There's a problem, and so you got to be.
Like how do you go to your partner K Dizzle and say, yeah, I'm turning my location off. Like how do you really have that conversation?
That's just opening the can of worms.
That's
That's
idiotic.
opening the can of worms. Opening the huge can of worms. So, um, no, man, no. But I think there should definitely be some ground. Ooh, what
Okay.
kind of ground rules, Mika? I mean, there are no grounds rules.
Space your ass in the
Especially,
basement.
what kind of ground rules can you lay when your location is being shared?
How can you do it? How could you lay the ground
There's
rules?
one thing you don't leave the house with, you don't leave work with, you don't even go to the bathroom without. and that
The
is your
phone.
phone.
The
That
only
is your
ground
phone.
rules you get in this whole operation and app is the terms and conditions that come with that goddamn app. Other than that, there are any ground
Yeah,
rules.
the cookies you decide to let flow. So I mean,
Except some.
except some, sharing location is a thing. Sharing location is a thing.
I
You
guess.
do you. I guess. I guess it's good for your kids. It's good for your relationship. It's good to build that trust, man. So that is a foray into sharing the locations in the spouse. That's the app question about the Life 360 app. Come holler at us. We need sponsorship. We said y'all name more than 10 times. So you can find us at 80 podcast at gmail.com. I went out with my oldest daughter, and a friend of hers texted and asked what she was in doing out in Gwen Oaks.
Ah. So if you guys don't understand what he's saying, my man Brandon says he got notified that her friend might have been worried because he took his own daughter out to Gwinnett. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are always positives. There are nothing always positives to sharing locations. I'm gonna say that with the with the utmost of being very hesitant, extremely hesitant at first. Extremely hesitant at first. Love one for safety, but also gives a third party mission to invade your life and intrude on your privacy. I see it as a big tech further in the reach that the government wants to control you as private individual. You going in deep. Look, we already tracked. It doesn't even matter anymore. You got to
Exactly.
give it up. You have to
Exactly.
give it up. We're already being tracked. It's hard to there's no way if ands or buts around it. It's just part of life now. We just gotta accept it. So if something were to happen, the first thing they're gonna do is backtrack our digital footprint. The only negative, as if you're doing something you have no business doing. That's all I got to say about that. So
Hey, drop the mic on it right there.
drop the
James
mic on it.
Thompson sums it up. The only negatives is if you're doing something you have no business doing. What you got to hide, man?
You shouldn't have much to
So
hide.